Hello, I'm Kathy Lumsden, and welcome to The Best Advice. Today our show is about you and your relationship with money. That 5-letter word is probably the only word in the dictionary that can send us crazy. It can elate us with happiness and excitement, and it can plummet us into depression, anxiety, and major panic. We absorb our relationships, we absorb our messages about money through watching our parents, our grandparents, and our environments. We don't realize that we're doing this as we're growing up. Some very common messages we hear about money are, money is evil. Money brings happiness. Easy come, easy go. You can't be spiritual and wealthy at the same time. And the classic one, what do you mean? What do you think I am, made of money? Money doesn't grow on trees. How many of you heard that one? I'm sure everybody has heard that one. Often we can rebel against those messages as well, and we can go the opposite way. The pendulum sweeps the opposite way. And we decide, no, I can have whatever I want because I didn't have anything as a child. Or if our parents worked a lot and were well off, but weren't around a lot, we may then develop a belief that money is not good. It takes my parents away from me. We are now living in a consumer-driven society. So not only are we getting old messages, but we're getting bombarded with messages, immediate gratification. You need this, buy this. If you don't buy this, X is going to happen. A lot of clients I see are very confused by the messages, their old paradigms versus the new messages they're hearing from the media. It causes huge stress and anxiety. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, at Best Advice TV, and on our website, rogerstv.com. And would love to hear your questions today. So call us at 613-728-1001. Each week, we have a quote of the day. And today's quote is from our guest, which I'm thrilled to have today, Bob Proctor. Money is not the goal. I am honored to have Bob Proctor on the show to discuss our relationship with money and perhaps shift some of our old paradigms. Bob is the best-selling author of You Were Born Rich, and he was one of the amazing teachers in the movie The Secret. He teaches internationally and has worked in the area of mind potential for over 40 years. Not only is he a brilliant, wise man, he's a lovely individual. Bob, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's a pleasure to be here with you, Kathy.
Thank you. Too bad we couldn't have you in the studio, but you're a busy man.
I am.
Yes.
I'm sorry I couldn't make it. I really wanted to, but I'm tied up. I'm not able to, but
I understand, and you're heading off to LA soon, so
I am.
No worries.
I'm going to LA, then I'm going to Tel Aviv, then to Cyprus, and then to Auckland, New Zealand, all in about 10 days.
Oh my goodness, do you ever sleep?
Busy, periodically. Sleep's overrated, Kathy.
I know, absolutely. So Bob, a very common question is, what's the number one reason people do not have a good relationship with money?
Ignorance. That's the only problem there is in the whole world. I don't care what problem you look at, ignorance is the only problem. People don't understand money. When I say people, I'm talking people in general, about 90-some% of the population. We've never been taught about money. Mm-hmm. You go to school, they'll teach you economics, but there's all kinds of economists that are broke. They never learned how to earn it. Mm-hmm. If you look in the daily newspaper or look at signs in malls, you'll find all kinds of people who will help you invest it, but you don't find any of them telling you how to earn it.
Exactly.
So the average person goes through their life and they really never learn how to earn money. That's the problem.
You're absolutely right, that's a problem. And in your book, and it's the quote of the day, you say money is not the goal. Well, what is the goal?
Well, the goal is to get to a certain place, to provide a certain degree of service. Money is reward received for service rendered. There's a law that governs compensation. The law of compensation clearly states the amount of money you earn is in direct ratio to the need for what you do, your ability to do it, and the difficulty there will be in replacing you. Now, you could take a neurosurgeon. A neurosurgeon cannot earn as much money as a real good commissioned salesperson. Commissioned salespeople are the highest paid people in the world. They only get paid when they produce. If they don't produce, they don't get paid. And so, there's a tremendous need for a person like that. A person that'll go to work selling a product or a service, and they'll cut the deal. The only way I get paid is if I produce. If I don't produce, I don't get expenses, I don't get a salary, I don't get a draw, nothing. I don't get any money. But if I do produce, I get paid what I'm worth. They're the highest paid people in the world. By contrast, they're also the lowest.
Wow. So Bob, ignorance, you mentioned, was one of the key things. What are some of the paradigms, the belief system that people fall into, in your experience, with regards to money?
Well, we're raised to believe that you go to work to earn money. And working is the very worst way to earn money. I know, but seriously, people laugh at that, as you just did. But, you take people that have worked hard all their life, and they've never earned any money. Money gets a bad rap. We're taught that there's, money won't make you happy. Well, it was never meant to make you happy. Money's made to do two things. One is to make you more comfortable, and the other purpose is to extend the service that you render far beyond your own presence. It was never meant to make you happy. You'll find people that haven't got any money are happy, and you'll find people that got all kinds of money that are not happy. And you'll find some people that haven't got any money that are very sad, and some people that have a lot of money, that are very happy. So it's got nothing to do with whether you're happy or not. It's the service that you render. And we've really got to start to understand it. We're taught how to trade our time for money. There's three strategies for earning money, Kathy. I call it M1, M2, and M3. M1 is the worst strategy in the world. It's the one that most of our parents adopted. It's the one that we're taught. It's where you trade your time for money. You go to work. You're there for a certain period of time. They give you a certain amount of money. They're trading their time for money. Now, there's an inherent problem in that strategy. It's called saturation. You run out of time. So it wouldn't matter how much you were getting an hour, you're going to run out of time. The second strategy is you invest money to earn money. Now, there's only 3%. 96% are in the category of trading time for money. About 3% of the population are investing money to earn money for very good reason. There's only a small percentage have any to invest, and then even some of them don't know what they're doing, so they make an investment and they lose it all.
Right.
Well, then the third category is you multiply your time by setting up multiple sources of income. And wealthy people historically have always had, you can go right back to the ancient Babylonians, who were a very wealthy sect of people. They all had multiple sources of income. Now, we could be taught this in school, but we're not. I always say, I have an associate over in Kuala Lumpur that I work with, had a little boy. At 4 years old, the little boy could speak 4 languages. And that's not uncommon in that part of the world. Now, if you can teach a child at 4 languages, you could certainly teach them the basic elements of earning money, but we don't do that. And as a result, about 3% of the population earn about 97% of all the money that's being earned.
Wow.
And everybody complains, it's out of balance, it's out of balance. Well, anybody can join that 3% group or the 1% group. We have choice. God gave us the ability to choose. We're the highest form of creation on the planet, but we don't understand it, and we don't understand money.
That makes total sense to me. Absolutely.
Kathy, I was being interviewed for a magazine in, I think it was in L.A. here about a month ago, and it was a good interview. And the guy asked me, he said, what's the most difficult thing you had to learn about money? And I said, how easy it is to earn. And that's a difficult thing to learn because we're raised to believe it is very difficult, and it's not.
Yes, yes. Okay, so Bob, in your book, You Were Born Rich, you talk about the image making, and you talk about build your image of prosperity and be persistent, take action. Can you share with the viewers a little bit on that philosophy?
Well, I think first of all we start out realize we're spiritual beings. We're God's highest form of creation. All religion and all science teach nothing is created or destroyed. All the knowledge, all the power that there ever was or ever will be is omnipresent. So we've got deep reservoirs of talent and ability within us that we habitually fail to use. Mm-hmm. We have the ability to build an image in our mind. And when we do that, we flip our mind onto a frequency of thought. And we start to control the vibration that we're in. Our body, our mind and body is energy. It's a high speed of vibration. Our brain is an electronic switching station. So as we build an image in our mind, we're activating certain brain cells. We put our entire being in a vibration. Now, the only energy you can attract to you is energy that's in harmony with you. Mm-hmm. Everyone that has done anything of any consequence will tell you it starts with an image. Mm-hmm. Solomon said, where there is no vision, the people will perish.
Right.
Hillary got to the top of the mountain because he could see himself at the top of the mountain. Nobody had ever done it. He failed in 51, he failed in 52, and 53 he got to the top of Mount Everest. There's been probably over 1,000 people do it since then. The Wright brothers built an image of getting us in the air. Nobody had ever done it until 1903. And they got us in the air, and on it goes. It's like the guy that broke the sound barrier jumping out of a balloon here yesterday, I think it was. People would say it can't be done. If you have an image of doing something, you can do it. We've got to be taught how to build images. I was teaching a child that came with his parent. We had a seminar where we had people from all over the world come in, and one lady brought two of her children with her and her husband. And so anyway, she got me together with a little boy, 12 years old. I showed him how to write his own report card. And that would be a good exercise for every teacher. Yeah. Give the kids a blank report card at the beginning of the year, have them build an image in their mind of the card they want to get, the comments they want on it, the grades they want, and write it out. And that becomes the goal. It's like a balance sheet in a company.
Yes.
The report card then tells them how well they're doing. Are they on track for their goal? Mm-hmm. But we don't do that. We wait until we get the report card, and the report card tells us what kind of a student we are.
Mm-hmm. No,
building the image is everything.
It is, absolutely. It is. And with my clients, when they do tap into that spiritual essence, they're then creating out of groundedness, out of love, not out of fear. When we get into panic, we don't have enough, scarcity mentality, then what happens, right?
You attract more of the same.
Exactly.
Do you know, I remember I used to always be in debt. And all I thought about was debt. And I started to study this, and I started to realize that every great leader, teacher, avatar, whatever, every one of them, they've been in complete unanimous agreement that we become what we think about. So if a person has a goal of getting out of debt, they're thinking of debt. They'll never get out of debt. We should set up an automatic debt repayment program and then build an image of prosperity. And by holding an image of prosperity, the way will come to us on how to develop it.
Yeah. Now, just quickly, we have to take a break in a minute. Dave Ramsey, the finance guru, is often promoting, because of this consumer-driven society, he's promoting, instead of immediate gratification, he's promoting deferred gratification. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, all our gratification is deferred if we're talking about the physical manifestation of something. But if you got the right image in your mind, you're going to feel gratified right away because you set up that vibration, and vibration is feeling. I think what he's talking about is build the image now, and you'll get it. You'll get the manifestation of it a little later. It's like, give up the ice cream cone now, get the bicycle later. So depending upon what context he's using it, I would probably agree with him.
Okay, Bob, we need to take a quick break. And when we come back, we have Nick, who's going to be discussing his financial difficulties and asking some advice from Bob Proctor. We'll be right back. Welcome back to The Best Advice. We're joined today with Bob Proctor, and now I'd like to introduce you to Nick. Welcome, Nick.
Thank you. That's good to be here.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
So what were some of the messages you may have absorbed through your childhood about money?
My parents believed very well that, I was actually very well trained, I think, on money, on the idea that, for instance, I remember when I first got my first Visa card, my dad's like, remember, it's not your money, it's Visa's money. Work and put money aside. You can, afford to now, even though I haven't. But regardless of the best advice, I still manage to get into trouble sometimes. My father was not very much on, you need money to have happiness, but it certainly makes certain things easier.
True.
So,
yeah.
And my mother was very, make sure to save, make sure you have a little extra just in case those emergencies come up and you have something available to you in case those, like I said, in case those things that come up that are unexpected. So she was very, very, made sure we understood that very well from a young age.
Good, good. Okay. So have you ever had any difficulties in relationships with regards to money? As a therapist, I often see couples who have, one's a saver, one's a spender, one wants to save for retirement, the other one wants to live now in the moment, let's spend. Well, have you had any difficulties?
In my relationships, yeah, I'm always the spender, I guess. I'm very much, I have the money, I'll buy it now.
Right.
Or defer it to a credit card or that kind of thing. Just try to. Whereas my previous partners have always been more savers, more wait and purchase when you have the money, and don't go for the immediate gratification. I guess wait and pay for it, and you'll feel better.
Right. Yeah.
I remember as a child, like I said, I saved up and I bought my first guitar through a savings program. But the second I got access to credit, it was, buy. I can get all these things immediately. I don't have to wait any longer. So those were some conflicts within the relationship, obviously, because they wanted to save, whereas I'm more than willing to spend.
And you know what? It's not uncommon for different types of spenders or savers to be attracted to opposites. Because for a saver, it's wonderful to be with a spender initially because it's, wow, we can have some fun and it's spontaneous. However, over a long-term relationship, that can create a lot of different conflict.
I can see why. It's opposite. The idea that opposites attract is definitely true in some circumstances. I do like the idea though of having a nest egg. I just never seem to get that far, and I guess that's my main question is, being a student going back to university and amassing all this debt. I'm curious if am I supposed to be saving? Am I supposed to be, try to pay off those debts as quickly as possible? I'm kind of conflicted when it comes to those kinds of questions.
Okay, so that's okay. Bob, can you speak to that?
Yeah. I think what you're saying is probably the advice that most everyone gets from parents who are reasonably well-balanced individuals. But they weren't teaching you how to earn it. What they were talking about is how to handle it once you've got it, and don't spend it before you get it. That's pretty common. What you have to learn is, how do you earn it? How do you earn it in abundance? Because there's no end to what you can earn. Now, I hear you're going back to school. Why are you going back to school?
Well, essentially after about 7 years working various jobs in the retail and service industries, I decided that, I don't know, I guess I had a conversation with myself. Essentially, I could be more than this. I can do more. But to get there, it would take a degree. So that's essentially what led me back to university and going to university.